Before the curtain goes up, and we're going to need a lint brush or something because the curtain is going up on Cats. Yeah, we have a homegrown production of Cats, and we're talking with the director, Ashley. Ashley, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm a bit tired. We're in tech right now, so didn't get home till midnight last night, but here we are.
Nice, nice. So Cats, it's been around forever, the longest running musical on Broadway. Is it still, does it still hold that title? Or
Yeah, the longest running musical. Yeah.
nice, it still holds the title. How wonderful. I think it's like 7 years ahead of any other show. So it'll be
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time for you to break that record. And yeah, you're doing the show at Theater Under the Stars, and this is a show that's not produced that often because it's a surprisingly big show because just in the costuming and the makeup and I remember when I saw a touring production, they catapulted an actor across the stage, and he went, "Well, he's seeing a chiropractor afterwards."
Right. It's a
But
it's a very unique show in that I can't think of any other show that has as much well, it's a sung through musical, so there's a few of those out there, but also it's a one could say a danced through musical. So you have to have um, the skill set from the actors is very unique in that you have to have actors who are proficient in ballet jazz uh,
mhm.
in order to make it work. Who can also sing, who are also good actors. So it's a very hard show to cast. It's hard to find the right mix of people. Um, there's lots of amazing musical theater talents who just wouldn't fit into Cats because they don't have the ballet experience. So it's very
Right.
unique in that sense. So it's a big challenge for sure.
Oh, I bet. And then you also, one of the unique things about Cats is that there's a little bit of a lead with the one cat that's being introduced to, who is what is it called? The stranger character who has to be introduced to all the characters. And Grisabella kind of weaves through the story, but she's not necessarily a lead. We don't see a lot of it through her eyes.
No,
So
you're right.
you need all these actors to pop with their characters, whereas Gus the theater cat or Skimbleshanks, you're like, okay, I need someone dynamic,
Yeah.
do all these things, because that character is only on stage in a spotlight for 5 minutes. And they have
Yeah,
to
you're right. You're right. There's no real protagonist in the show. We have an antagonist in McCavity, but it's interesting that our antagonist doesn't sing. The song McCavity cat, the mystery cat, he doesn't sing.
someone
So
else sings it. Yeah.
yeah, Demeter and Bomblerina sing it. So it's very unique in that way. It's a unique musical in that a lot of musicals in the first 10 minutes have an "I Want" song. When you think of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast or
Yeah.
even Sweeney Todd, there's that always that great opening, and we know in the first 10 minutes what that character wants. The
Yeah.
"I Want" song in Cats doesn't come until the end of Act One
Yeah.
uh, when Grisabella sings the pre-priest to memory. So it's a very unique structure. It requires a very unique talent, and and we were thinking the other day, we're putting it together. So yeah, Skimbleshanks is Skimbleshanks in that moment, but he's on stage for the whole show except for about 3% of the time. So most of the cast is on stage for 97% of the show.
Yeah.
So it requires you're an ensemble member, you have your moment to shine, like you said, and then you're back to the ensemble.
Are you going to have any of your little kitty cats running through the audience as well? Because I remember at the QE Theater when I saw a touring production, a cat, I was in the second balcony and a cat's face went whoop and jumped up and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw the original. I'm dating myself now in London a couple of years after it opened, and same thing. I was sitting on an aisle, and there was a cat right there.
yeah.
It's a somewhat of a unique challenge at Tuts because we're outdoors,
And
obviously,
yes,
and
and
and we don't want them tracking. muck, gravel or grass onto the stage. So yes, our plan originally was to have cats coming through the audience, and that may still happen. But here's the thing: they've got to change their shoes before they hit the
Yeah, they're running through the audience with gumboots on.
right. Yeah, Donnie, our a brilliant costume designer, has come up with several ideas. Maybe silicone slip covers, or maybe they change their shoes, and I'm just sitting there going, how's this work?" So
Because it almost starts in a big because it starts with the Jellicle ball, if I'm not mistaken. So if they're running through the audience and then they have to sit down and change the shoes, you're like, well, my opening number is missing six people because they're changing their footwear.
yeah. So the Jellicle Ball actually happens 3/4 of the way through Act One. The opening song is Jellicle Songs for Jellicle Cats.
Right, there you
Right.
go.
And so that was, that's the first big sort of hurdle that we came across, because as you remember, when you saw the touring production, all the lights go out and then a spotlight comes up on one cat and they sing, "Are you blind when you're born?"
Yeah.
And spotlight goes out, and then on another part of the theater in a cat's, "Can you see in the dark?" And they have this whole big introduction, and it's all scary and all creepy, and then the lights eventually come up and then you see them all dancing. We can't do that.
Can't do that. You got sunshine.
Can't do that. So with a lot of research into the play and into the plot, we came up with the idea that it was not the idea. We came up with the idea that Andrew Lloyd Webber had, and T.S. Eliot, that this was a ritual. This is a ceremony, almost like, say, May Day or Easter or Christmas or any of those other religious ceremonies. So we want to try and, a way of easing into it, have some sort of ritual ceremony setting up the one night of the year where they have their Jellicle Ball, and it's very special to them, and they approach it with reverence. There's also lots of fun and lots of irreverence, but at the heart of it, it is for lack of a better word, a spiritual ceremony. So that's what I really want to try and lay in and get that feeling across. So if you come and see Cats, you might see something a little different at the beginning.
How wonderful. Well, that will make it fresh and will also help remove that odd movie, the very weird movie. Although I have to say, I found some of those spandex outfits surprisingly erotic. I was like, I had no idea.
Yes,
I found that interesting.
absolutely. Yeah. The movie, they didn't quite get it. I don't think. They didn't quite understand the through line, and I think, yeah. Enough said about the musical.
I just have to say the thing where I always think I'm so clever. What's her name? Rebel Wilson was Jenny Anydots, and at one point she takes off her skin with a zipper and does a dance number. And I was like, use that device when she's captured, when you have them chained up. If she just undid her skin again, she could wriggle out, right? But they don't do that. And you're like, oh, you've added this really ridiculous thing. And you could have said, this is why, but you didn't.
Yeah, I find too that the additions that they made, the sort of dialogue, that was in there wasn't quite right. That didn't fit. There's only two times where someone has dialogue, and that's when Rum Tum introduces Mephistopheles. So old Deuteronomy has been kidnapped, and all the lights are out, and he's calming the cats down. He actually has spoken text. It's only 3 lines, but it's I think that's a good clue that really there shouldn't be any extra dialogue in the play.
It doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. This is kind of a show that washes over you, but also bounces you around. It's like a little roller coaster, because you get romantic songs and then high energy songs and funny songs. And how about this? You're now going to sell these people. You're going to sell the audience. You're going to do a commercial. You're going to look right directly at your little green dot on your laptop or whatever device you're working on. And you are going to convince them, because they've seen Cats before.
Yeah.
Right, and they're scared of it now because of James Corden or whatever his name is. Um, so you're going to tell them why they need to come and see the Theater Under the Stars show, even if they're thinking, well, I don't know, it's a busy summer. I don't know. And you're thinking, no, here's why. So I'm going to count you in, and you're going to
Okay.
tell this show. Ready? Three, two, one.
Hey, this is a great opportunity to see one of the most iconic musicals ever written, Cats. It's full of energy. It's full of dancing. It's a sung-through musical. It's a new production. An exciting production with lots of dancing, an amazing set, amazing costume design. You won't regret spending that little extra money and coming down to the park at Theater Under the Stars and seeing Cats.
Yes, and you have to come now because you have to find out whether they solved the shoe problem and had some of the cats in the audience or not. Right? We've created a sense of mystery with this interview.
Inquiring minds want to know.
You'll want to know. Well, thank you so much, Ashley.
Thanks, David.
Hopefully you get a nap in before you're back in there because you were up late last night tacking the
Yeah.
show. I can't. Oh, who's your set designer? Who designed the set for this?
We had a woman named Jennifer Stewart. I don't know if you know her.
Okay.
She's done an amazing job. Yeah.
Because this is a fun show because it's like, well, we want it to be garbage, but we also want it to be neat.
We settled, lots of times it takes place in that garbage heap, in that sort of dump. We settled on a back alley, sort of a
Nice.
deserted alley. Any alley in Vancouver, for example. So it's a nice secluded spot, and an alley gives lots of opportunity for like brick walls and graffiti and a dumpster and all that stuff. So
Nice, fantastic. Well, actually, I'm very much looking forward to it, and I know Vancouver is too. So thank
great.
you so much. Have a great, great day.
Thanks, David. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.